So what do you guys know about Roswell?
All I heard is that there is aliens.
Like 1950s, that's when the spacecraft that crashed or something.
It was in 47.
Oh shit, my bad.
No, you're
Close enough, right? 2 years off. 3 years, 3 years.
But that's like one of the famous, like, right?
Like
I'm gonna cover it.
Like the main incident, yeah. It was the flying aircraft being spotted, and then they just said that it was balloon or something.
See that's the thing. While researching this, there's like so many like like there's like different stories that someone said, and then someone else said this, and there's also like not like an exact timeline of like I can't say like this in June and then July, because like
it's all like all over the fucking place.
Yeah, basically. But anyways, I'm gonna cover like what I researched from like documentaries and helped out a bit, dude. Cause like
cheated.
well, looking it up on Google, it was like, oh, you can't be looking this up.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? FBI's on my ass, I guess.
Really? You can't?
Like I looked it up, but like it never like gave me like a full response or anything, Anyways, so Roswell is a small town in New Mexico. You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
It didn't become popular until July 1947. The event took place near Corona. It's like
Out there.
it's like right next to Roswell, basically, like in the desert. Anyways, during the night, at some point in June or July, right, there was a bad thunderstorm that took place, and it was heard by Mac Brazel, who was the owner of Foster Ranch, where the crash was, right?
Yeah.
So during the thunderstorm, they heard like a really loud noise, but they just like brushed it off because like, oh, it was a storm or whatever. They thought it was like thunder. Next morning, Mac on horseback went with his neighbor Timothy Proctor, and they found like this debris just out there in the desert, and they're like, what the fuck is this? Let me tell you how like this metal was. They collected it and took it home. The debris was some sort of metal that had unknown writing on it and could not be burned, cut, or damaged. And it was thin and light like tinfoil, right? When you crumbled it up and you like did that, it would like take back like its original shape. So he showed it to his family and the Proctor's family, and he also showed it to his brother-in-law. And at this point in time, like Mac, he didn't know what the fuck a UFO was or anything.
Yeah.
And his brother-in-law, he's the one that told him like, oh, maybe it's a UFO, because like weeks prior, there was like many reports that like, oh, there's a UFO in the sky. I saw a flying saucer, this and that.
Was just like a little small piece?
Debris. He took it back home.
Well, there's debris everywhere around like the desert, like the crash where they found it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they picked up a little bit of pieces, and then like another thing too that I was researching, like at some point, the fire department showed up, and they also like collected the stuff too, and the police, and there's people that like knew about this at the time too. Once he suggested that it was like a UFO, he was like, oh, so this material's got to be like important or something. He went to the nearest sheriff's office in Roswell and visited Sheriff George Wilcox and told everything about like what he found and all that. And George was the one later to report to the press. Mac described his find as consisting of large numbers of pieces of paper covered like foil-like substance and pieced together with small sticks, much like a kite, scattered with the material over an area about 200 yards across, with pieces of gray rubber. All the pieces were small. And a quote from Mac Brazel: "At first I thought it was a kite, but we couldn't put it together any kite I ever saw." He said it wasn't a kite. I guess he thought it was a kite because it was like...
the same material?
Yeah, kind of, but like the material wasn't like of this world. Mac thought he would be a town laughingstock if the story got out. So he told George to like have it between them, basically.
Yeah.
And George was all like, nah. And he told the military about it,
fuck?
basically.
Oh,
Dick!
So anyways, the military ended up showing up to their ranch and like to do like a large scale search of, I guess like somehow they found a UFO on his property, or like I don't know the story because like it was said like one way and another way, but like okay, the military group in charge of the search was the 509th Bomb Squadron, and the squadron was part of U.S. Army Air Force's composite group during World War II, best known for carrying out the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, August 1945. That group came out and said that they themselves found a flying saucer. You could look it up. It's in newspapers that they found a flying saucer, which they later then recanted.
So it's just basically it was almost like they were silenced into saying like, yeah, we didn't find shit.
Yeah, they're all like, oh, never mind. Oh, sorry, we lied about that. My bad, guys.
Even now that happens a lot.
Hey, bro.
One thing the military says and then they like take it back later
Yeah.
on. It happens now too.
It's because they're not giving information about what to say.
Yeah, a lot of the time they're not. It's just like, oh, they say one thing because, you know, they're a person talking, and then their upper people, the people in the military that are higher ranks than them, are like, don't say that you lied about that or something like
Yeah.
that.
That's why they don't have the military like speak anymore. They usually have like generals or like
Yeah.
like higher ups do the talking.
Yeah.
Is that how it works now?
Yeah.
After they recanted their statement, they came out and said that like it was just one of their weather balloons that was just made out of tinfoil and sticks and whatnot, and that any reporting about a UFO was a mistake, and they later confirmed that it was a part of a project called Project Mogul, which is just basically like weather balloons, you know. They shoot up in the sky, and like a top secret project by the U.S. Army Air Forces involving microphones flown on high altitude balloons. I guess basically they're like supposed to spy or something on like.
Maybe they're just like hearing the storm. Like weather balloons are.
I'm not sure how
They track storms, but like I don't get what the microphone would be for.
Maybe they hear out what there is out there.
That's what I was thinking, actually.
Oh yeah, I have pictures. All right, so here's a prop of the piece that they found that was 3 feet across. That's the writing that was on it. What the fuck?
Is that the real like thing?
No, like
Oh, it's just like
just
like,
apparently, you know.
Okay, yeah.
And here's the weather balloon.
Is that the real photo?
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? That's supposed to be the weather balloon?
Yeah, that's what I found apparently.
I can see why they thought it was a kite.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like foil, too, huh?
You know what it looks like?
Here's another picture.
Yeah. It looks like nothing but like tinfoil.
You know what it looks like? That material, that thing. It looks like the stuff that you put like on roofs. You know, like that silver lining part.
You know what it also looks like to me? It looks like
Or do you put that in the wall? I'm not too sure.
what's it called? It's fire blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it looks
Like during like a forest fire or something, they have those. They pull it themselves for like in case like a fire is going over them. They like basically tuck it so that they don't get burnt alive or nothing. That's what the material looks like to me. I don't think they had that back then though. I don't think it was an invention yet. What was it, 1947 you said?
Yeah, 47. The military then told everyone that was involved to retract their statements and to not talk about it.
Who the fuck was the president then?
Look at it. President Nixon, right?
No, Nixon was 80s, wasn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah. No, Nixon was 70s. Yeah.
Harry S. Truman.
Oh, fuck, it was Truman. Yeah, he was a jazz president, wasn't he?
I don't know. They don't talk about him in schools.
He's the one that served as president after Roosevelt's death in 53. Serving until 53, sorry.
Frankie Rowe was a key witness associated with the Roswell UFO incident in 1947. Some quick background on her. In 1947, Frankie Rowe was a young woman, 12 years old, living in Roswell. Her father, Dan Dwyer, was a firefighter for Roswell Fire Department. She claimed that her father was one of the first responders to the site of the crash, right? So like in that in between for like all like the news press and like from Mac finding the debris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so her father, he allegedly told the family that they had seen a crashed spaceship and non-human bodies at the site. Frankie later said that a state trooper came to the fire station and showed them a small piece of unusual material from the crash. According to her, the material was metallic, could crumble into a ball, and would return to its original shape. A depiction that matches other Roswell debris accounts. And she also claimed that shortly afterwards, she was threatened by military personnel who told her never to speak of what she had seen or heard.
Bro, imagine you're fucking seeing some weird shit, and all of a sudden, shut the fuck up.
A lot of people over the years have said that military personnel would come to their homes and stuff and tell them not to like speak on certain things.
Oh, you better shut up, or we're gonna take you out into the desert. And
That's fucked up.
dude, that's what happened, though.
Is that what happened to her?
Or did they like threaten her like that?
I have a video to show you guys after. Frankie Rowe kept quiet for decades, but eventually came forward in the 1990s. She gave interviews and was featured in several books, documentaries, and UFO conferences. And she passed in 2017.
Does it say what she died from or not really?
How old was she?
Doesn't tell me. I didn't take notes on that.
She was old enough, okay?
Oliver's like, I
don't
know.
If she was 12 in 1950, what was it?
1947.
Oh, 1947. 47,
She's
60,
probably
70, 80. Damn, she was like... She could have been like in her 80s, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's two different interviews I want to show you guys.
Okay.
Alright, this is Frankie Rowe.
Tell me what happened when your dad came home that day.
The very first time that I heard about this at all. Okay. Daddy came home from work. They worked shifts of a type that they would be on duty maybe 24 hours or 36 hours and then off 8 or 12, like that. So we hadn't seen him for a time. And he got home that evening and he came in so excited, and I was in the kitchen with Mother. And he asked Mother, he said, I've got something I want to tell everybody. Get everybody in here. And she said, we're cooking supper right now. And he said, well, how long is it going to be? Because I've got to talk to everybody. And it was just my mother and myself and the 3 younger kids at home, and my other sister was working. So we hurried and we got it on the table and called the kids in. And he started telling us that they had gone on a call of what they thought was going to be a plane crash north of Roswell. And he said they got called out to Blackwater Draw. And when they got out there, what they saw was not a plane that was our plane, but he said it was a flying craft from somewhere else. Well, we didn't ask questions, but Mother asked all the questions, and we were just listening, and she started, what do you mean somewhere else? And he said, it's not an airplane. He said, it's not from this world. He said the crash was like the flying saucers that they have talked about, because there'd been a few comments on the news about flying saucers. And he said it was one of the flying saucers crashed. And I don't think really Mother believed him at first. And he said, no, I mean it. We went out there early today, which I don't know what time that was, but early to him could have meant they left before dark. And he said when they got there, they could see that there were 2 bodies that were laying on the ground outside of this craft, and that there was one, what he called little person. And he said there's one little person that was walking around, and he said they were still alive. So she asked him, you know, what did they look like? Did they look like us? And he said they were very small, about the size of a small 10-year-old child. But the head looked like the little insect that we played with or that we saw around our house called Child of the Earth. We all knew what that looked like, so nobody asked any questions on that. We assumed that meant that the head was too large for the body, and it had no hair, and it would have large eyes. We knew that because that's what the Child of the Earth insect looks like. He said they looked quite a bit like us. He said they were a lot smaller than we are. Because when he said a small 10-year-old child, I knew he meant smaller than I was. And I wasn't very big at 12 years old. I was a little small for my age. And he said that the other 2 were dead and that this one that was alive was very sad. But he emphasized and he kept saying, there's no need for us to be afraid. They're not here to hurt us. And he said, we couldn't help them. And he was more upset over the fact that they couldn't help this little person. And that's something he really felt badly, that he couldn't help this one that was alive. He just said, you could feel the hurt from this little person that was so saddened by the death of the others with him. And apparently they hadn't been there but just a few minutes, and he said the military came up and they made them leave. And so they went back to the fire station, and he said there had not been a grass fire, which would have been their purpose for going. And they thought there could have been if it had been a normal plane crash. I don't think Mother really wanted to believe it at first. And he talked about how could we be so smug to think that we were the only ones that God could create. If he could create this earth, he could create a lot of others too. So that was just a conversation over dinner that night. And then there wasn't too much said about it for the next couple of days. Then I was at the fire station one afternoon because I'd gotten sick. I had to see the doctor, and we only had one vehicle. So I went back to work with Daddy. He came home at noon and picked me up on his lunch. And I had gone to the doctor and was sitting in the kitchen part of the fire station, and I was eating a glass of ice chips. And a state policeman came in, and he yelled at Daddy. He said, "Hey, Dan, come over here." And he said, "Get all the guys. I want to show you guys something." The state policeman reached into his pocket, and he said, "I don't think you guys got to see anything like this the other day." And he pulled his hand out of his pocket, and it was closed up. He opened his hand over the table and dropped a piece of material that when it hit the table, it was all wadded up when it left his hand, and when it hit the table, it spread out like it was water. And they were asking him, how'd you get by with this? And he said, well, he had helped with some of the pickup of debris, and he had managed to sneak that one piece in his pocket. He said, I don't know how long I'll get to keep this before I get caught. Because he said, everybody they catch, they're taking away whatever they've got.
All right, in the second interview, she talks about being threatened by the military.
They knocked on the door, and I answered the door, and Mother was beside me, and he told Mother who he was, and that he wanted to talk to the girl that had been down at the fire station. And so she told him it was me. So he came in. And we started to sit down in the living room, and he said, no, I want you go in there in the dining room. You could see the dining room from the living room there. He told Mother to sit at the end of the table, and he told me to sit at the side. He positioned himself across the table, and he told us to sit down, and he stood. And he said, I understand you were at the fire station the other day. And I told him, yes, I was. And he started out by saying, I want you to understand that you were never there. And I didn't understand what he meant, because this was kind of not a way of talking that we were accustomed to. And I said, yes, I was there. And he said, no, you weren't. And I said, yeah, I was there. And he had mentioned at first that he wanted to see the one who had seen the piece of material that they had been handling down the station. And I said, yes, I did handle it. Then he started emphasizing, no, you didn't. Well, my mother was pretty strict, and we didn't lie. So I'm insistent that, yes, I saw it, yes, I held it, And he got mad, and the more I insisted I had seen it, he didn't just come out and say, this is not something you're going to be allowed to talk about. He was trying to get it through my head that I never saw it. And he got louder, and he had one of those, looks like a small baseball bat that hooks on the side of your belt, and he took that out, and he's holding it, and he starts beating his hand. Every time he said something, he would hit that on his hand, and he would say, I want you to understand, you were never there. You did not see anything. You did not hear a conversation. And he said, if you can't understand this, there are things that we can do. He asked Mother, he said, can she keep a secret? And Mother said, yes. She said, just tell her what you want her to do. And he said, well, first of all, you got to understand that if you ever talk about this the rest of your life, he said, there are things that we can do, and we'll do them now. We can take all of you kids. We will take you either to Orchard Park or to Artesia. Orchard Park was the German POW camp during World War II, and Artesia was the Japanese POW camp. And he said, but we don't have to do that. We don't even have to let you live. He said, we'd put you in one, we'd put your parents in the other one, but we don't have to do that. He said, we can take you out here in the middle of this desert. He said, no one will ever find your bodies, ever. No one will ever know what happened to you. And so he said, the only way I'm going to let you stay around or live is if you promise you'll never talk about this the rest of your life. So I told him I wouldn't. But that really was pretty much all that was involved. He was probably there at the house maybe 45 minutes to an hour. Mother sent me into the bedroom, and I don't know what he had to say to her afterwards. One of the other military police that was with him stayed in the backyard with the younger kids so they didn't come in the house while he was there. And I never discussed it again until recently. And I'm sorry, someday I will get over it. I haven't yet.
Your mother must have had a hard time explaining to you. Obviously, you were raised to be honest.
She never talked to us about it. Never. It was never mentioned again.
From the time you came walking out of your bedroom?
From the time I went to the bedroom until the day she died, we never mentioned it. There was no conversation.
What about your father?
Never talked to him about it either. I'm sure they must have talked to him down at the station.
You must have gotten a good talking to.
I imagine he did. Excuse me just a moment.
That's okay. Find you want a drink or something?
No, I just wish this whole thing would go away. It doesn't go away. And it doesn't get any easier. Because every time that I tell somebody about it, I feel like I'm 12 years old again. I can see the guy standing there with his sunglasses on, and he never took his hat off, and he never took his sunglasses off, beating his hand with that stick and threatening us. And at the time he did it, it was okay. Because we'd been through the war, we understood, and I didn't realize it was intimidation. I had no idea what it was until probably the last 5 years, actually. Because I never talked about it again. I never mentioned it to anybody. When this all came out and my kids found out about it, they were really upset with me. Because I never told them about it. My husband, who was very upset with me about it too, because I never told him about it.
Damn, that's crazy. Being 12 and be like, dude, you can see shit. I'm gonna kill you and your family.
Yeah, dead ass dude.
That's like fucked up.
The way how she's crying and stuff, like she actually went through that shit, you know.
You can't fake emotions like that either.
No. The thing that kind of got me too was how he said, like, how her dad said that the little alien was like standing next to the two bodies. Looks sad.
Yeah.
That's kind of fucked up, bro.
What I was thinking, like, when she was that, is like, oh, that's its parents, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Like, oh, it just saw its family die, basically.
You know what? I always heard that the craft, right, that crashed. I always heard that they found bodies, that it was only 2 bodies. I never knew there was like 3.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. There, one person says another one person says this happened, and the actual true events, like, no one knows because, like,
It's all been like classified and like hidden.
Yeah.
So for some
yeah,
years.
so it's all like to speculation and like your own interpretation, I guess.
Like, how the fuck are you gonna get information if the military was doing that shit too?
Mm-hmm.
If they went to everybody and did that same
See,
tactic?
if that's the thing too, like, if it was just a weather balloon, you know, like, why not just show us, you know?
Yeah.
And they won't do that either.
And if they said on the news too, then why intimidate the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's on the news. It was a weather balloon. They said, then why go to the people that witnessed it and say you didn't see shit, you didn't touch shit?
I wanted to add into how she was, like, describing what they look like. The little bug that she was describing, the Earth Child.
Child of the Earth.
The yeah, or whatever the actual, like, name of the bug is. Like, cause me and Oliver went to a museum in Roswell that has the aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember taking pictures of, like, the sculptures or whatever, the, like, statues of the actual aliens. And
You still have those pictures?
yeah, I still have
I
them.
lost all of them on my old phone.
Like, she pretty much described what they look like, basically. And then some other pictures is like the, like, what are they called, dioramas?
Mm-hmm.
Dioramas of what the, like, crash of the thing looked like.
That's how it looked.
Oh, for some reason I pictured it like different.
I thought it was like completely fucked.
One of the interpretations of it, because there was a few different ones. Here's another one.
Yeah, so, like, the only way you could have, like, known is if you were one of the witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
Because they covered that shit up like crazy, dude.
Another, like, depiction of what the aliens look like when like, the crash happened or whatever.
He's all sleeping.
We just witnessed. We just saw.
I know, that's
this
fucked
guy,
up.
dude. He won't.
It was all.
You're a dick.
Dude, he grabbed the control, dude.
You're the saddest shit, that woman pouring her heart out and stuff.
No, he just crashed now, bro. He's asleep.
I'm joking. He's not sleeping clearly.
Do they know how... Wait. Such a fucking moron, bro. The ship was intact then? Like, the whole thing?
Apparently, because, like, the military, right? The group, I said, the RAAF, or the 509th Squadron, right? They came out and said that they found a flying saucer. But then, like, right away, they retracted that statement. They found the crash, or the site, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Mac didn't, like, find the UFO when he found, like, just the debris.
Maybe it was just like how... It was
Different
like
area.
Yeah. Maybe he
Like,
just
it
found
came
it
down
like
like
that.
boom, boom.
But maybe he just saw the fucking thing. Like, wouldn't that distract you more if you just saw the piece of metal and you're like, ooh! And you picked it up and you said, what the fuck is this? And like 10 feet down that way, you don't even see the saucer because you're too focused in the middle?
I guess.
That'd be me, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be like, what the fuck is
What's
this?
this? So, 10, fucking 20 feet away, there's aliens right there. Like, hey, man, help me. Hold on a minute, man. Stop bugging, man. What is this stuff?
Kid over that cramp for some reason.
The incident also had many individuals who later claimed to be witnesses and had some connection to the event. These witnesses are typically categorized as first-hand, second-hand, and hearsay based on how directly involved they were. Some military personnel were Major Jesse Marcel, Colonel William Blanchard, General Roger Ramey, Sheridan Abbott, Lieutenant Walter Haught, and some civilians or ranchers Mac Brazel and his family, the Proctor family too, other witnesses, Glenn Dennis, Jim Ragsdale, and Barney Burnett. Those are all the people
that were witnesses, and then first hand, second, and then hearsay, or like the only witnesses that were there.
I'm not sure.
Probably just the ones that were there, right?
I'm not sure, dude. And most of these testimonies that they gave emerged after 1947, and I wanted to talk about a theory about like why the aliens were like there in New Mexico. Do you remember that room that we went in the museum?
What room?
The it was like supposed to look like an alien cockpit, and like it has like a projection of like us going to Earth, and like, you remember that? No. Okay, so there was a room at the museum, right? That like it was supposed to be from the perspective of the aliens, right?
Yeah.
And so basically, like, the atomic bombs happened. They tested them in New Mexico. We all know that.
Yeah.
That happened. Like the explosion sent like a shockwave or like energy or something that the aliens like received like as a message, and they're like, oh, we better go visit that. So they go to New Mexico, and on the way the thunderstorm happens, lightning strikes it. They end up falling down in Foster Ranch, right? And yeah. So that was basically the theory of like why they might have been there.
Electricity could fuck them up.
I guess, dude. They're so intelligent and have like crazy technology, but one thunderstorm and they're done.
Yeah, oil shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
They
call it memory metal.
Is that still like around? Do they have it anywhere, or like?
Supposedly, maybe, if you believe that it was something, but other than that, they say it was a weather balloon.